His car turns directly.
Oh my
into...
God.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, so then this guy says previous Autopilot versions didn't do this. 10.4 and 12 do this 90% of the time.
10.4 and 12?
I guess those are versions. Yeah, it's interesting. And then this other guy says... where did they say that? Well, I can't find it right now. But this other guy says that previous versions never did that. And it just started doing that. And then they bring up the point of if like you share the car and you don't even know that a firmware update happened, then you could be like receiving the car in a different state that you didn't know about, and you've never experienced a car swerve into objects before.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it is.
Yeah, well, you also assume that with a software update that things get better.
Yeah.
There's not new problems, yeah.
That's like Windows updates. If your Windows update started making your computer crash, that's like a pun, because the Teslas are crashing. Anyway, if Windows updates started making your computer crash, then you'd be pissed off.
Yeah, but they do that. You never expect that from Tesla.
No, especially when you can die from it.
If Elon knew we were comparing his car updates to Windows updates, whew,
Yikes.
he'd be upset.
Yeah.
He's upset right now. He's got to be.
Yeah, I'm surprised Tesla hasn't really said anything to like about that.
What do you say though? Like, this is pretty clear cut, isn't it?
Well, they could talk about how their firmware's like crashing their cars these days.
So like
or give like at least acknowledge it or something.
Kind of like a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, so
they every time a Tesla crashes, or not every time, but a lot of times they'll release a report or something.
Yeah.
But they haven't even acknowledged this.
Why don't they just send a patch, like to shut it, like to turn it off or to shut it down in those scenarios? You wonder.
Yeah, maybe they will. Well, they should. If there is a problem, which it seems like there is. It seems like it gets confused over like any sort of lines that like cross or like.
Yeah.
Because that exit had like, the line looked like it continued that way, but then like a new white line started, but it followed the old line.
Yeah.
Like directly into the barrier.
But where was the barrier in that deep learning algorithm?
Yeah.
You know what?
Like, it can follow the lines, but it should also be like, hey, there's something there.
It doesn't exclusively follow the lines. I don't know how it all works, but if you see that video of the self-driving advertisement where it shows all those boxes, the green and blue boxes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's tracking lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I would have hoped the barrier is in there.
You would think not hitting something is higher priority than following the line.
Exactly.
So.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what happened to that programming condition or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
But how do those learning algorithms work? They're not like traditional programming where you have conditions and you have loops. Like, it's like it's resetting its, what are those things, weights between the neurons or something to like better error correct the outcome. Or I'm not exactly sure. I watched some deep learning videos, but
I know like when they teach something to play a game, it sort of just starts off random.
Yeah.
And then it eventually learns how to play based on doing millions of iterations.
Yeah.
So with cars, they must put in rules like don't run into these things.
Yeah, well, start off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't start with random.
With like good driving, they can learn how to drive good versus bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Without causing issues. Like,
yeah.
Actually, when we test drove that Model S,
sorry.
When we test drove that Model S, I noticed when you had autopilot on, it would kind of like steer like this.
Yeah.
Versus being smooth.
Yeah.
And apparently that's something that's been fixed.
Okay.
And I wonder if that's like part of it learning how to drive.
Yeah, maybe. Because there's a lot of changes there that would be cumbersome for a programmer to put in themselves.
Yeah, it would be
like
impossible.
It'd be easier if the computer could have figured out that variable, that steering variable, than a human being. Right?
Yeah, they don't teach it for that kind of stuff. They don't teach it how to drive. It learns.
Yeah.
And I know Waymo, we've talked about this before. I think we've talked about this. Waymo runs simulations.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
So most of their miles aren't actually real. They're like in a simulation.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
But as long as the simulation is accurate, then
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Then it's exactly the same, or even better, because they can tell the simulation to do weird things, and make sure the car responds properly.
Yeah, you can simulate a crash.
Yeah, and if it doesn't respond properly, you can keep rerunning that simulation until it does.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they do. If they find something weird, or it's not responding properly in real life.
Yeah.
They'll go into the simulation and keep rerunning it and let it learn.
Yeah. Do you think they just have all these servers that are just on 24/7, just simulating and learning?
Probably.
Yeah. I imagine.
When I read about it, it was probably 6 months ago, but it said someone prominent in that industry thought Google was like far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah?
Yeah. Which is surprising because you don't hear about them as much.
Well, Google doesn't really announce things.
Yeah.
You know, like all of a sudden YouTube was huge. You know, like they bought YouTube.
Yeah.
And then now pretty much everybody uses it as sort of like a side entertainment or main entertainment.
Yeah, I guess
sort of
they don't
comes
really
up.
like advertise. I guess they don't need to.
No, like search, like it's just obvious now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was ever. I remember back in the day. Did you ever use like Ask Jeeves or?
Yeah, they all sucked.
What was the other ones? Yeah, but they were at least comparable.
I
now
remember
it's not
I
even
used
close.
Yahoo for a while.
Yeah.
And I probably used MSN, like the website.
Yeah, yeah.
And Ask Jeeves.
I don't remember what metric made Google better back then, but it was. I don't remember why. It was better though. And then,
well, now like I'm pretty sure since the beginning their like search algorithm has always been a secret, and they're always changing it.
Yeah, now
that's like a big industry is trying to figure out how they rank websites, so you can get your website ranked better.
Oh.
That's like people actually charge websites to do that for them.
Really?
They sort of like understand how Google ranks websites.
Oh.
And then you can pay them to make your website rank better.
Wow.
But Google's always changing it, so these people are always trying to catch up and figure it out.
Wow, what a
it's
business.
called SEO, search engine optimization.
Oh, okay.
It's like I've never really dabbled, but it's a thing.
Yeah. But they have such an advantage now. I don't know, they released their, what was it, I.O. conference or?
Google I.O., yeah.
Google I.O. Anyway, they released their market share. I think it's like upwards of 80% for search. Maybe it's even 90.
Wow.
But think about that. Now they're going to only get better because let's say you search something and then you search again so they can track that, right? So you searched and searched and then you found. They can compare those things. Like this is one small example. They compare those things like this is what he initially searched. This is what he finally got to. And this was his intermediate step. So maybe we can go from 1 to 3.
You mean like this is what he searched and he ended up selecting this and that's what he actually wanted?
And these were his intermediate searches. So if you're going through this process, let's get from A to D quicker.
Oh, like you had to keep changing your search.
Yeah, sorry, keep changing your search.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that.
Because I've been in, like, the autocomplete game on Google search is epic now.
Yeah, it's really good.
You start searching something and I don't know how it just knows. It can't just be number of hits. It's got to be other things because I've seen it be different even when I'm like just from my different searches. I've noticed that it.
Do you think it's different when you're logged in versus not logged in, or not like on your computer versus someone else's?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They have to personalize it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That is interesting.
But I'm saying now they have so much more data because they have such a big market share. So it'll continue to make it better.
Yeah.
And then that means more data. So it's like they're in this epic feedback loop.
So have you heard of DuckDuckGo? It's like
no.
it's like they're trying to be Google, but it's completely private, so they don't track you or anything.
Okay, no.
So the reason I bring that up is I think that's like everyone's concerned about privacy these days. Not everyone, but a lot of people.
I think people haven't come to grips with the fact that their information is for sale. Once you come to grips with that fact.
Yeah. So DuckDuckGo, what I'm saying is Google is like so prominent and popular and so good and so much better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I think the only way they could ever lose market share would be something to do with privacy versus actually getting worse at search, which I don't think they would do.
You're saying they can't beat Google at the search game, but maybe they offer a different product, sorry.
Yeah,
like a private product.
Yeah. So like Google's motto used to be "Don't be evil."
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still it, but maybe Google becomes evil and no one wants to use it.
Yeah.
And like I think that's one of the only ways they could get overtaken.
It's funny that you mentioned that. No, but seriously, you know that James guy got fired from Google?
Ted James?
James.
You mean the guy that was outspoken about women?
His name's not. First name's James?
I can just look it up.
Yeah, check it out. Anyway, he was talking about how Google never used to be in China. Yeah. Because China wanted to censor things.
Yeah, they use. I don't think they still aren't.
No, they are now. They made a deal, and James called it and something Damore.
That was his name.
Oh man,
unnamed. Oh, this says it's an unnamed engineer.
No, his name is out there.
Oh, really?
Dude, he was on Joe Rogan for sure. He's out there.
Well, I'm sure
I gotta know now, Thomas. Keep searching.
James Damore. There it is.
Did I get it right? Oh my goodness! I thought I was shooting blanks.
I cannot believe you remembered that. That's like sort of insignificant.
Yeah.
Like it's so less significant than the actual letter.
And so much less significant than other things I should remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said that they made a deal with China, and they kind of made a deal with the devil because they compromised their values of not being censored to get into China's market.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he said. Now, he got fired, so I don't know.
Did he say that after he got fired for that letter?
Yeah.
So, like, what did
he sounded very candid. Like, he doesn't sound like a scammer.
What did they sacrifice?
They're going to censor the traffic, the searches.
Like China was.
China already does, and they wouldn't let Google in, right? Because Google wouldn't filter and censor.
Oh, so Google basically has to block whatever China wants them to.
Yeah.
Huh.
So there you go. Don't be evil.
But sort of being evil. Again, especially towards Chinese people.
Yeah, but it's such a big market.
Yeah.
How can you give that up, right?
Well, if you want to expand, like, they are global. So there's not many options to keep expanding.
There are, So I thought that was interesting. Well, their motto now, I don't know if it's changed or when it changed from that I.O. conference, is to organize the world's information. That's their...
That's what that speaker said?
That's their mission statement, yeah. That sounds like quite a lofty goal, so yeah.
It's sort of what they've been doing, like mail, calendar, Android, like their phones.
Yeah, and search is the most epic organizer.
Search, obviously, yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, they're all about information.
I think overall they're... Sorry to cut you off. I think overall they're good, but if you want to be dominant, it's hard not to make compromises. Because if you're unethical, and they talk about that in that podcast, or maybe it's a different one.
Which podcast? Joe Rogan's?
Yeah, with James Damore. I think he also had
he was on the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And there was another podcast where they talked about James Damore with Jordan Peterson. And Jordan Peterson said that in the history of human beings, the unethical people prevailed. Because you have a leg up. Like, it's not an even playing field anymore. You're willing to do things that other people aren't.
So we have evolved unethical.
Kind of. I mean, we're this descendants of all the people that killed the other villagers, right?
Yeah.
Right?
We're all just awful people.
So there was like this hippie camp where they were like, Everyone was like smoking pot and like, you know, loyal to each other. And then this group of bandits
chilling.
came in and just destroyed them. Just
Yeah.
killed everyone.
And we are their sons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, that makes. I guess we can be unethical and not feel bad about it then.
I guess. So
Not that I would.
Neither would I.
Especially because I think I signed something for engineering that said I wouldn't be. So
Oh yeah. We are practicing.
we're
members
very
of APEGA.
ethical.
Yeah,
This is all just jokes.
This is jokes, definitely. But I wanted to go back to the selling information. I mean, you and I obviously know how that business works. Like, the reason why Google Docs is free is because they sell our information, right? To advertisers.
I don't know.
Isn't
I
that,
sort of hope not.
but where does Google make its money?
Well, I know they make a significant portion off of advertising.
But to target good advertising, you need to know a lot about the person using that product or watching, right?
Yeah. They already do know a lot about us based on just how we use the internet. A lot of the internet is done through Google these days. And
Yeah.
they know how old you are, what color your skin is, male, female, like everything you're interested in, because
Yeah.
you type it into their little box and
Yeah.
hit enter.
And if you think incognito mode is saving you, it's not.
Even if you don't hit enter, they know what you typed in.
Exactly. Especially if you use the Chrome browser, it's completely over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know if I don't think they would do that with Google Docs, like actually harvest what's inside your documents.
No, I don't mean that. I mean more specifically like a free product that's really good.
Yeah.
Why is it free?
Well,
That's-
in Google's case,
That's what I think about. Because maybe they don't sell your information, that's a strong word, but they can go to any company and say, we can target people down to the last iota.
oh yeah, like
The-
yes, selling it and using it for your own products.
Yeah.
Like letting people target certain things. I guess that's different. I thought you meant they were just like giving our information away.
No,
Like,
no.
Here's his spreadsheet.
No. Oh no. No, I don't think that. No, I don't think selling just putting a yard sale up for everyone's account.
Here's all their photos they uploaded.
Yeah. No, I don't mean that. I mean they know a lot about you and they sort of sell it
Oh yeah.
to other companies.
Well, you know how on Google Photos, now you can search for things that you like. You want to find a photo you were in at the beach. You type in beach.
Yeah, or dog or something.
So they've obviously already correlated the photos to keywords.
Yeah.
And they can very easily use that information. Like if I have like half my photos are me playing hockey,
Yeah.
they can start targeting ads towards me based on
Oh,
hockey, right?
Absolutely.
Or if you love the beach, like start targeting swimming attire at you.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you can go levels deeper. You're going through your beach pictures, then in between the pictures, a little vacation advertisement.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Like I'm sure they do that. Why else would they? Like, don't be evil is one thing, but be smart. Also.
Yeah. And
if people are handing you this information, you should probably do something with it.
yeah, well, or else you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, all this AI stuff they're implementing their products, it's really, I mean, it's for the user, like it helps us, but it's for them too, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think part of, I don't know how relevant it is now, but I think at least sometimes some of their products are just to get people to use other Google products.
Okay, to kind of open the door.
Yeah, like most big companies give free email or calendar or whatever.
Yeah.
And that usually that's like with Apple, they want you to use their iPhones or their Macs.
Yeah.
So I would say at least a few of Google's products are targeted towards that too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they really want people to switch to Android. So
Yeah.
they probably try harder than Apple tries at certain things.
Yeah.
Because Apple has a bigger market share.
Yeah.
Although
But they make
technically I think Android has a bigger market share, but That's an operating system,
not
the hardware.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Android is bigger, I think, but I see what you're
bigger, but not like gross dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not gross dollars to Google.
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah. The Android is definitely a big one. But you know, if that's the case, wouldn't they make their Apple apps suck? Like, you use the Google apps on iPhone and they're awesome, aren't they?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, they're epic.
I love my Google inbox.
Yeah, on your iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's something to be said for that, because you would probably call me a Google honk these days.
Definitely. But
and
they are a great company.
Yeah. Well, the next time I need a phone, it's not like I haven't made my decision for an iPhone.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Like, you asked me a few years ago, I probably would have said I would never switch.
Yeah.
But now I'm sort of rethinking things.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because you use their service.
Yeah.
Exactly what they maybe were intending.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think no one does software better than Google, it seems.
No, yeah.
For some reason, I have a feeling they really stepped up their game recently, like 2-3 years. I don't know why I believe that.
I'm always impressed because when I use their software products, there's sometimes like, oh, I wish I could do this. And then I'll go into the settings and it's just like a checkbox. Like, they thought of everything.
Or it comes up in an update.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like, there's little things like in my I was using my Google inbox on my web browser.
Yeah.
And you can like select multiple things to delete them.
Yeah.
Like click, check boxes, and then click delete.
Yeah.
So I clicked 2 or 3 in a row, and then this little pop-up came up. It was like, you can hold shift and then click the top one and the bottom one, and it'll select all of them.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that in Google Photos too.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's such like a tiny little feature. Like, you wait until they click 3 and then you tell them about this tiny little feature that they might want to use.
It's like they really thought about it.
Yeah, like someone really considered it.
Yeah, I agree. I get that feeling too in Google Sheets. There's like these little nuances where you had to get down to the I don't have an example, sorry, but you had to get down to the tiny details to make that better or to make a decision. So they're like really close with their products.
Tiny little details.
Yeah.
And like in Google Photos on your iPhone, you can just like swipe and select a bunch of photos.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice how they do that. Maybe they give their developers more time to actually like polish things.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
That's what James sort of cut you off. That's what James Damore said about the companies. Like, they have so much ad revenue, they go develop whatever they want.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard they have. I think it was Google has like 20% time. Maybe they don't do it all the time or certain groups, but it was like 20% of your time. So 1 day a week, you can work on whatever you want.
Wow. That's a lot.
Even if it's like something that's never going to make Google money. I think it's got to be like Google, something for Google, or like
it's
learning.
It's not your personal.
It's not like a side
bicycle
project.
Shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Like your side business.
Yeah, but if you're thinking, I want to try and apply machine learning to this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obvious now, but if you wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, but that's what pushes innovation, obviously.
I'm sure a lot of Google products, like those smaller ones that not tons of people use, I'm sure some or a lot of them came out of that. Or even just features in Gmail, like some of their products have or used to have like a labs feature that you could turn on.
Yeah.
And you could try out little features.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of those just came from certain guys who thought of something and wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I remember those labs things. Those are interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen those lately.
They don't need any more feedback.
Yeah, I guess not. They've done everything. So speaking of information, I wanted to bring this up before I forget. I read an article today on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's all, how Facebook's in the news these days for being shitty.
Yeah. Well, they kind of suck.
Yeah.
What are they doing, really?
Should we delete our Facebook accounts live?
That's deep. Delete all data?
Yeah. Good luck. I'm sure that data still exists.
Yeah. I was about to make a sarcastic comment. I'm sure it's gone.
Yeah. Well, there's probably more data.
You get an email a month later. So would you like to recover your account?
Yeah.
Did you miss us?
Don't worry, we have everything.
Yeah.
They continue tracking your data even as you delete it, like where you clicked on the screen.
Well,
Put that in the database.
They can, yeah.
What was I going to say? Facebook. Oh, so I read this article today. Apparently, Facebook was approaching hospitals.
Okay.
Maybe not like individual hospitals, but whoever controls health data for, I assume it was Americans. So wherever they store this data.
Okay. Could be third party.
Yeah. They were approaching whoever that was, trying to convince them to give them access to the data. And they wanted, like, they didn't want the names of the people. They wanted access to it. Like, we're trying to correlate or do a study and, you know, like use the data for something.
Okay.
But then apparently, I don't know if this was internal documents or something, but somewhere it said they were going to use this data and, like, with their own data, try to figure out who that data belonged to.
Oh, so cross-reference the
like
hospital
cross-reference
data with their Facebook database.
Yeah. And, like,
So then, okay.
somehow figure out who was who in those two data sets.
So then they're innocent because they never asked for the personal info, but they were to correlate it anyways.
Yeah.
It's like, that reminds me, we talked about yesterday with the hash table. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
you know, like you got the list of hashes, but you know a way to get back to the password.
Keep hashing everything until something matches.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess their motto is be evil.
It sounds like it.
That's
crazy.
Which is funny. It took you so long to realize. Like, you always knew Facebook was kind of doing weird.
They were doing weird things all the time.
But it's interesting that it hasn't become like a scandal for so long.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll even last though.
Probably won't. I don't think that many people care.
You know, I don't want to compare it to Apple's iPhone headphone jack because that's just a design decision. That's one of those cases where there's just uproar.
Yeah.
And then no one thinks about it anymore.
Yeah, although I tried to use a new set of those headphones. Like, so with the new iPhone, you don't get the headphone jack on the headphones anymore. It comes with the lightning connector.
Oh, yeah.
So I grabbed a pair of those. Actually, yeah, I grabbed them. And my girlfriend grabbed a pair at a different time. So we both did this.
Yeah.
And she brought it on a flight, so it was even worse for her.
Oh no.
She had these headphones on a flight. She goes to plug them in, and it's a lightning connector.
Sorry, but doesn't that phone come with the lightning to
no
3.5 millimeter jack adapter? No.
Well,
maybe
I think they're her headphones. I don't actually know where they came from.
Sorry. Okay.
But we had originally they were brand new headphones. She brought them on the flight.
Yeah.
Pulls them out. We're on a flight to Ireland, so she has no headphones.
Oh God, that's
She's
awful.
goes to plug them in. She's like, oh no.
It's funny you say that because that's got to be a quote on this show. But when I flew, whenever it was last time, I brought one pair of wireless and one pair of old school wired.
Wireless. What did you do? Oh, like for your phone?
For my phone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had some shows saved. And then I brought the wired ones. I was just lucky enough to remember that the airplane has that. So, but you have to think about that.
Gotta be careful.
I think that problem gets solved. I'm not saying that's not a problem, but I think that problem gets solved easily and quickly in the sense that as soon as planes start getting upgraded, they'll put a Bluetooth chip in.
Yeah,
and
probably.
I don't see that going out of style. Audio bandwidth is not going to really increase, right?
I don't think Bluetooth will ever go away. They improve the Bluetooth protocols.
Yeah.
Like Bluetooth Low Energy.
Yeah.
Which uses less energy.
Yeah. But yeah.
And I think it's also faster.
Yeah. Yeah. But for as far as audio, you're probably okay.
Audio is audio.
Yeah.
Especially 1% of the people actually passionately care about audio quality.
Yeah.
Less than 1% of people.
What are those called? Audiophiles? Audiophiles. PH, right? Audiophile, PH.
My dad kind of cares, and I just make fun of him.
He has those expensive speakers, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got he has big headphones from 1970. And he still thinks they're like the best headphones you can buy.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, so I think the plane thing will solve itself, but it's almost like those things are normal casualties of advancements. I don't know. Things get left behind.
Definitely.
Like the gym equipment still has those 30-pin connectors.
The what equipment?
A lot of gym equipment still has the 30-pin.
Oh, like the treadmills.
Sorry,
and stuff.
treadmills. Yeah,
yeah,
cardio equipment.
I was like, what equipment?
Yeah.
I want to work out there.
yeah. So those guys. I mean, the people who made the treadmill don't care. They sold it.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
now the gym is stuck with this 30-pin connector.
Yeah, they're absolutely useless.
I've never seen someone plugged into it ever.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever had the opportunity to plug into those.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe like a long time ago, but they still use those. Like the equipment still has them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're probably gun shy. We're not going to upgrade this because it'll change.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
I guess wireless is the answer.
And so maybe we're reinforcing
for
Apple's
things like
point.
that. Yeah.
Wireless is the answer for things like that. Yeah. I mean, I took one signals class, so I'm by no means an expert. But what I learned from that class is that you can't beat a cable because you're never going to have the kind of losses in a cable that you have in air.
Yeah.
It's just never. You can't change those physics.
Yeah, and there's a lot more interference. Like if you have interference, you need to use a cable.
Yeah.
Or if you need reliability, you have to use a cable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for the most part. I mean, you can get more reliable wireless protocols, but
you still can't beat the cable.
Yeah, it's still not going to beat it.
Yeah.
Like unless you chop the cable in half.
Yeah.
Right?
I went through a phase, like when I built my first computer, I wanted everything wireless, including my monitor.
Did that work out?
I found one on Memory Express, was too expensive.
How did it work?
Or maybe Tiger Direct, I don't remember.
Was it like a wireless HDMI or something?
It was just a receiver and a transmitter. I'm not sure what was going on.
Was it? So, do you remember how it actually plugged into your computer? Was it like DVI or VGA?
I think it was a VGA connection and then some wireless module connected to it.
Interesting.
It was not popular. I think it lasted like 6 months.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That'd be cool to make. Because you'd be taking in an analog signal, converting it to digital, wirelessly transmitting it, and then converting it back to analog, and then
that's a lot of losses.
Running the speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be wildly inefficient.
Yeah, exactly. So I used to think wireless was the answer. So I bought a wireless keyboard, wireless mouse. Maybe that was it. Maybe not the wireless monitor, but I was
wireless processor.
I had a wireless Ethernet card or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I realized that wireless is not better. That if you're within 3 feet of the device, maybe you should plug it in.
Yeah, just plug it in.
Yeah. That's why I think, in a home, everyone goes on wireless for everything. Like you don't have a choice with a laptop or a phone. But when you're plugging in big things like an Xbox or your smart TV, I would try to make an effort to go wired still, even if that sounds antique.
Generally, when I have something that doesn't move, I want it to be wired.
Yeah.
I can't... Right now, I can't wire in my Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And it bothers me.
Oh, I couldn't sleep at night if I knew that.
Like, I think about that weekly, that my Xbox is wireless. Even though I've never had... Well, I guess I don't game online that much anymore. But, like, back in our Call of Duty days...
Oh, the latency.
I mean, I'm sure I would have noticed.
You would have noticed.
Yeah.
I just think about how much stress the machine is under.
It's like getting hotter.
So much extra work to go wireless.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I think. But when you're on a wired, it's like...
Yeah, right. There's no worries.
No worries, yeah. Because those that's Apple HomeKit for all you guys out there. Yeah, when you think about the wired, it's like it's a technology that's proven too. Like,
yeah, definitely. It's obviously more reliable.
Yeah. Sweet. One thing I wanted to make sure we chatted about was you mentioned Google Waymo.
Waymo, yes.
So I was saying this to my girlfriend. I've said it a couple of times now, and anyone who's willing to listen, about how significant it is that they have a fleet of driverless cars in Phoenix. anyone. Well, I think there's some conditions. You have to sign a waiver, and it's restricted to a certain area. But
it's definitely a certain area.
And I think there's a waiver for it. It's not like anyone can get in.
Yeah.
And you can just, like, cars are driving themselves. I find that so profound. I don't think other people think that's that profound. Like I said, I said it to my girlfriend multiple times, but like this is it's not the future. This is now. Google has a fleet of self-driving cars. I think that's crazy. I don't know.
It's really exciting. It's less exciting knowing that you still have to sit there and pretend to be driving in case something happens.
Yeah, of course.
But the way it's going is exciting.
Oh yeah.
And the pace at which it's going there.
That's the thing. And if they had a end of year article in Ars Technica kind of year in review, and one of them was, I don't know if it was part of the big one or a separate one, but they were talking about how significant that moment was. And it's not really talked about. And
which moment?
The moment that Google released these self-driving cars.
Oh, okay.
How significant the moment was that's here now.
Yeah.
So I was trying to relay your point about how quickly we're advancing in that arena, and that it's here.
It's rapid.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, Elon Musk claims, he's always saying it's like 12 months away and we'll be at level 5 autopilot and whatever.
He said 6 months. I don't know if it's 6 months, but he said a little while ago that within 2 years you'd be sleeping in the back of a car. Yeah. So I don't know about that.
His timelines are always questionable, but I don't think he's ever been wrong, or
it always ended up happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like the Falcon Heavy, that took forever, but it flew.
Yeah, we that reminds me when we went and watched back those early SpaceX videos of him showing a tour of SpaceX.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know how long ago, maybe it was 8 years. I don't want to misquote.
SpaceX started in 2002 or 2003, I think.
Okay, and I'm not sure when this new facility had started.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, it was a while ago.
That was probably after their Falcon 1 launches.
Yeah, because they got the contract from NASA.
So that would have been, I think that was in 2008 or 2009 or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
After that.
And he was taking a tour and he said, well, this is the Falcon 9, and in 2 to 3 years we'll launch the Falcon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like 10 years later.
Yeah. So, no, but the stuff he predicts will happen usually, or basically have always happened. So,
yeah.
And also with this self-driving vehicles, what's interesting is every major tech company is attacking that arena. Like, Google, my opinion, the best software company in the world, is doing it and has done it. Tesla, NVIDIA, I think, is partnering with Uber.
Yeah, NVIDIA supplies some of the hardware, I believe.
And then, Apple's always on the rumor mill with their self-driving or their car program.
That's interesting because Apple's so secretive, and you keep hearing rumors, and like, actually, you see some photos, but like nothing has materialized.
Yeah, I know Tim Cook said in an interview that the self-driving car arena is an interesting and challenging one. I don't know what that means. I would say they're for sure dabbling in it, don't you think?
Well, definitely. Like, have you seen the photos? They have cameras all over the car and whatnot.
I've seen it, but it's like you said, nothing else really.
No, and years ago it was like Apple's making their own entire car.
Yeah.
And literally nothing came of that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there was photos.
No, I just heard a rumor that they kiboshed a lot of the project.
I heard that too.
Yeah,
and they switched towards software.
Yeah.
But like, it would be a shame if they keep canceling everything and we never hear about anything interesting Apple did.
Yeah. That's like a lot of the secrets that happened, like that they were going to make their own TV.
Yeah.
But that's never happened.
They probably do all this cool stuff and you just never hear about it.
Probably Google does that too. We also don't hear about it.
That's true.
And those things that we do hear about, they get canceled. Like, you remember Wave, that email service?
Google Wave? Yeah.
Even the public ones, like the Nest, which has made little to no progress. They've like pumped billions of dollars into it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just how it goes when you're on the edge of, I don't want to say advancement, that's the wrong word. When you're on the edge of ingenuity or new ideas, a bunch are going to fail probably.
Yeah. Actually, that is one issue with Google. They tend to release these products. So they have lots of different things they do. But a lot of times they're not afraid to shut them down.
Yeah.
And Google's so big that people are using them.
There's tons of users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Google Wave, like
Yeah.
people were using that and they shut it down. I think they used to have an RSS reader that they shut down. I'm sure there's lots of other examples, but
Yeah, because they could release dog shit and 100,000 people would use it in a day.
And even
Yeah.
like 100,000 people, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But to Google, that's like no one's using it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they shut it down.
Yeah. Yeah. So they picked their projects, and I'm sure Apple does too. Hopefully Apple stays in the self-driving game just for competition. I mean, there's a lot of competition, but only will help it advance faster.
So I think one thing with Apple is they're such perfectionists that either it'll be like perfect, like level 5, or they won't release anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. They generally do that. They will delay and wait till something is immaculate. Yeah.
Which, I can understand. If your goal is to be 100% autopilot and you can only achieve half of that, in Apple's eyes, it might just be like, why would we even release this?
That's a good point. Well, they did that with a lot of products. They delayed it. I think Steve Jobs mentioned his first idea was the tablet, was the iPad.
Right, yeah.
And then it didn't seem feasible, so they went the iPhone route.
Yeah.
And it was like a decade later
that
they finally thought it was good enough.
Yeah, they just couldn't make it good enough.
Yeah. Or you could do the Microsoft angle, which is just slap some stuff together and get it out the door.
Release half-baked products.
Oh, constantly. Hardware and software.
Update them, force you to restart your computer.
That's one of the reasons why I wouldn't say apprehensive about getting an Xbox. I'm like loyal to Xbox, but there's so many product issues from Microsoft that I was like, is the Xbox One going to be a fuck up?
Whoever's done the Xbox has done a good job.
Yeah, it's great.
They must have really, like Microsoft over here, Xbox over there.
Yeah.
They're not sharing developers or product managers.
Yeah. Because the Xbox One S is great. I like it. So
I have no complaints.
Yeah.
But they actually even though Xbox is so old, they release updates. Like they've updated the UI many times, and they're not afraid to completely change it.
And that's the Apple kind of way.
Yeah, and they haven't. I don't think it's gotten worse. Although you tend to forget what it used to be like. Like
you quickly forget.
That was like Facebook. Do you remember how they would update the UI and people would lose it? And then within like a week, no one would care, and you couldn't even remember what it used to be like.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying the Xbox is like exactly like that.
Yeah.
Although I don't think people really care.
I think
they do a good job
because it's not as integral to their life. So you kind of just are casually browsing.
Xbox, it's more like a menu to get to where you want to be, not Facebook, where like people who love Facebook, that is where they want to be.
Yeah, that's true. It reminds me of when do you remember iPhone's big UI overhaul, where they went to that sort of flat matte look with like the small arrows instead of all like the nice bubbly look. And I remember it was just
Isn't that when Johnny Ive took over from Scott Forstall?
Yeah, because Scott Forstall had these very sort of, I don't want to say antique look, but kind of.
It was that leather. I can't remember the name, but it was supposed to look like real life.
Yeah,
like material.
Because I remember the Notes app on the MacBook or on Mac OS was like all leathery and stuff.
Yeah,
instead of just a pain.
They always did that with their apps. There was no like theme. Yeah, everything was different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then they went full sort of pastel. And people just lost their minds. They're like, "This is for a child."
Yeah.
And now everyone's loving it. I think Google kind of started it. They sort of like their Google Docs went all flat and all that.
Yeah.
And then it's just funny. Just same thing. People just don't like change. So the first reaction was just anarchy.
Yeah, Google. I can't remember what the hell it's called, but it was like this design philosophy.
Yeah.
How they designed everything, and they completely switched. Like everything changed.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I can look it up.
Because they sort of went to a completely minimalistic approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Where if it's not useful at all, they won't be there. Not even if it makes the page more, I don't know, lack of a better word, aesthetically pleasing. We don't care.
And like material design, that's what they call it.
Oh, okay.
Here, let me do this. So
Well, that looks boxy and googly. That's for
yeah,
sure.
it's very boxy. But like you could imagine those boxes on a Google page.
Yeah, this is Google hands down.
Like there's no gradients, no texture. It's just
Definitely they started this. Now you're showing it to me.
it's just like colors and shapes and stuff.
How long do you think they debate stuff like this? Because this is, when you think of something, or a design, which will be on all your products, something like that spreads out over the whole world. How long do you make this decision?
Yeah, I mean, you're affecting a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
It's interesting. Like, I don't consider design this significantly, but it's people's entire jobs to, like, this do and don't. Like, one is slightly deeper than the other. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe that ties into your personality bit. Like, you're more like the lower level, like how things work. But there's a lot of people that really are into how something looks. Not looks in a naive way, just like literally how a menu bar closes. Like they're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But
I used to actually, when I was younger, this is really nerdy. I think it was, I love hockey, right? And I got NHL 98 for my birthday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. 10 years ago.
And I found this forum online, and people figured out a way to sort of hack the game and insert your own skins.
Okay, yeah.
So you would design the textures yourself. They were just like 2D flat. And in the game, it would wrap it around the 3D object.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you could... So I sort of got into that. My point was, like, I kind of understand that thinking, because I was obsessed.
Yeah, you were probably perfectionist with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
every pixel.
And it was hard because you had this 2D image. Like, I would do the goalie equipment.
Yeah.
So, like, the goalie pads, it would be this 2D image that it takes, and then in the game, it wraps it around the pad.
Yeah.
But the 3D models were so bad that, like, you would design this perfect-looking goalie pad in 2D.
Yeah.
And you would put it in the game, and it would just be, like, all morphed, and the logos would be stretched. And so in Photoshop, you'd have to go in and, like, for everywhere it stretched it, you had to compress it.
Oh.
So it would come out properly in the game.
So you had to kind of counteract the mistakes.
Yeah. And it was... So, yeah, I sort of understand that, like, perfectionist. And once you're into it, it's super interesting. Like, I could sit there for, like, 8 hours, like, tweaking and, like, designing something.
Yeah.
And, like, you just look at the clock, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, totally.
And you realize, like... You've been hunched over for 8 hours and you can't feel your neck.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of things with people who are into tech and programming. You get obsessed with it. You want it to be perfect. I was once listening to an interview of the team who built Google Chrome, or some of the people involved. Thought it was like the next greatest browser. So I was doing all this research on the team and listening to videos. They said, and I don't think they're exaggerating, that they argued about every pixel on the browser UI.
Really?
Every single pixel, yeah.
Well,
the tab angles, like everything.
So especially when Google Chrome first came out, I think there was a big emphasis on showing as much as the screen as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because all those other browsers, like toolbars here and whatever,
scroll bar on the right.
Yeah, big scroll bars and icons all over the place.
Yeah.
So that was like, when I switched to Google Chrome, that was like my favorite part. Plus it was super fast.
It was super fast.
But it was really clean. It's kind of like Google's homepage. When it loads, it's completely white.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you move the mouse, I think. Unless they changed that.
Yeah.
Oh, they did change it.
But even still, look at it. It's nothing.
Yeah, so
one of the most visited websites in the world, and there's nothing on it.
So it used to be you load the page and it's literally just the logo and the search bar. And obviously they changed it a bit. And it used to be when you moved your mouse, then everything else would kind of come into the screen.
Right.
But like, I kind of like that, how Google's like minimalistic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned... No, I'm just repeating that for no reason. Fun fact, though, Sundar Pichai, I don't know if I said his last name properly, the CEO of Google now.
Yeah.
He's been the CEO for 2 years, I think. One of his projects was the core engine of Chrome.
Like when he was a developer?
I believe so.
Oh, cool.
I watched a video of him on it. Recently I watched it, but I think I watched it back then too. I don't know if he was actually coding the core, but he presented it, like him and his team.
So this was an old video.
Yeah.
That you watched recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Old content for sure.
Yeah.
And he was part of that Google Chrome team, and he did all the, I don't know if it was development, but he at least organized the development. He talked about the JavaScript engine and all that stuff.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that a CEO is like so technically involved.
Well,
Yeah.
That is cool. I wonder if he misses working on the products. That's something I would ask him if I ever met him.
Probably.
Do you miss being close? Because now I bet you his whole day's meetings and
Well, it's probably
firing James Damore and that kind of stuff.
Oh man, that would be such a pain in the ass to have to worry about. Like you go from being so technical and like loving your programming job.
Yeah.
And now you have to worry about like HR stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to do what is it? Every quarter they do their release numbers. They have to be there for those phone calls. You know.
Like you're so businessy now.
Yeah. And really,
but maybe he was always like a product manager. I don't know. Well, I don't want to take that away from him. He was probably a programmer.
For sure, yeah. Or maybe, you know what? If you do it for 15 years, maybe, I don't want to say you don't like it anymore, but you loses its shine a little bit. Maybe you want to try something new.
Yeah, for certain people, I probably would.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to quickly
I got a couple things I got to mention too.
Oh, why don't you go ahead? You got it dialed up right there.
Well, these will be quick.
Yeah.
The first thing I wanted to mention was Tesla's progress on the Model 3. So.
Oh yeah. They had a good earnings report, right?
Oh yeah, their earnings report. So, I think their production goal was something like 2,500 cars in the last week of the quarter.
2,500 cars in a week.
I think so.
Okay.
Well, this might. Yeah. So here, it actually sort of mentions that after reaching 2,000 models per week. So I think their goal was 2,500 or 2,200 or something like that, and they almost reached it.
Oh, okay.
To Tesla investors, that was a really good thing.
Well, yeah, because they weren't making many cars.
Yeah.
Their mass-produced vehicle.
But then I was reading online that they could have just sort of swayed their production numbers. Like
how?
Working overtime for a week.
Okay, just for that week?
Well, yeah. Well, they could have. Like that's sort of like the negative way to look at it.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just for the report,
because they knew their earnings call was coming up, right?
But
and Tesla's gone up like 15% in the last 2 days.
Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking is then as soon as the next report comes, I guess they're banking that they'll eventually ramp up.
Well, that's further. Like a temporary solution.
Yeah. Okay.
The report also looks at the entire quarter. So
yeah.
If everything's shit except for 1 week, you're not going to get good reviews.
Yeah, that's true.
But so anyway, this article was Tesla registering 4,800 Model 3 VINs. Then that sort of tracks if they're registering a VIN, it means the vehicle is being produced.
It's in production.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or it will be in production soon. And those VIN registration numbers have been going up. So it means they are producing more cars.
So what they released in the last week of the quarter was what they officially produced, or is that directly correlated to the VINs they registered? Like, how did they come out with those production numbers?
The production numbers that Tesla tells us
like in that
are
report.
The actual production numbers.
And that is...
The VINs being registered are...
Okay.
Like now. Tesla's not saying anything.
Okay, so those are separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
The VINs being registered are like... I don't know how much delay there is between...
Yeah.
But you can... Maybe like a week later, you can look how many VINs Tesla registered. So you could do that every single week.
Yeah, okay, that's true. So just because you register a VIN doesn't mean you're going to make a car. Doesn't mean you have to make a car.
No, yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, okay.
It's sort of like reserving a MAC address for a device you think you're going to make.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed to make it. You haven't sold that car to anybody. Or in Tesla's case, you have, but that's neither here nor there.
We've sold a lot of cars they haven't built yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. What do you think about it? You think they're going to, I mean...
The production?
Yeah, like, obviously the VINs are a sign that things are ramping up, and whether it's skewed or not, they did make that many cars in a week. So what do you think about it?
I'm optimistic.
Yeah?
Well, like before we mentioned, Elon Musk is always optimistic with timelines, but he hasn't really been wrong about anything.
Just took longer.
It always took longer.
And he said that he wanted to get that factory to 500,000 cars a year, right?
I don't recall what he said.
It was either 250,000 or 500,000, which is drastically different. But it was basically around where a normal car company can produce.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know what those numbers are.
Yeah, definitely.
And factories are bigger and smaller. But it was, I thought it was around, over 250,000.
So I think if he wants that to happen, it'll happen.
Mm-hmm. He's too driven, eh?
Yeah, I think... I mean, you could always run out of money before it happens.
Yeah, they're almost always running out of money, but yeah.
Like Elon, he's been successful. There's been some close calls. But, like, he doesn't have a golden ticket to success.
No, he just works his ass off.
Yeah. So, I mean, things could go wrong. So far, they've just been happening late, but they could go completely sideways.
I feel the same way as you. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I think he's too driven. I think that filters down in the company. And a lot of car companies have like really bad quarters. I don't think a car company not having money is uncommon. That's pretty common.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Ford and Tesla are the only American car companies never to have gone bankrupt.
Yeah, file for bankruptcy.
I believe. Yeah, file for bankruptcy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Some have, and they're still around.
Yeah. No, it's true. So they're kind of winning in that aspect. But yeah, when people are like, oh, they're broke. Yeah, I think a lot of car companies are broke. It's really hard to make cars.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah.
And I also am under the impression there's a lot of investors lining up to give them money.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever not funded a round of investing that they've been trying to do.
Exactly. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think one advantage they have as well is they can price a lot of high profit into software. Like the example I'm thinking of is Autopilot.
Yeah.
So every Model 3 is made the same as far as the Autopilot hardware, that's as far as I understand it. To use it is a software unlock that you pay $5,000 US. I think it's 6,600 Canadian. So
is that when you buy it from the factory? Isn't it more when you unlock it later?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So let's say you buy it from the factory though, 6,600. That's literally 6,600 free dollars.
Yeah.
So if they get their self-driving software up to a reasonable level, and maybe they charge more for full autonomous, or they had talked about the Tesla network where your car drives itself and you can loan it out to other people. Like that's all pure profit. You don't have to pay for that. Like it doesn't cost them extra to release that software.
True.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
That's also a lot of incentive for them to figure out their Autopilot.
Yeah,
because if it's awesome and perfect, there won't be one Tesla on the road that doesn't have it enabled.
Yeah, software has that real profitability part of it.
Yeah,
it's so easy to send something around the world, and it can make you a lot of money.
So say they sold 1 million cars, so 500,000 cars a year.
Yeah.
Times $6,000 to enable Autopilot. That's like $3 billion.
I don't want to do the math because I'll make a mistake.
But 1 million times 6,000 would be 6 billion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
So it'd be 3 billion. Half of that.
And that's for
and
Autopilot.
that would be every year.
And that's for Autopilot. They probably bring it down because right now Autopilot and fully autonomous are extra.
They should make it more expensive.
So now they're separate. Maybe in the future it's all one package, one $5,000 package. But right now, as far as American dollars, it's $5,000 for advanced Autopilot and 3 Gs for full self-driving. That's not even been released yet.
What? Why are they even making you pay right now then?
Well, because it's going to be more later.
Oh.
And other than that, you'll get it the first day the software is released. I don't know.
It's funny how Tesla does that. Like they raise money, like the Model 3 deposits.
Yeah.
Or the Tesla Semi.
Yeah.
Like they take payments so far in advance. The new Roadster, isn't it $250,000 deposit? And that's the entire cost of the car.
That's for a certain one. So you can get I don't know, it's not called limited edition, but it's the first 1,000 that are made.
Okay.
So the deposit for that is $250,000, which
the
is the cost of the car.
car.
And then you can reserve a normal one for 50 Gs, and the total cost of the car is $200,000.
Okay.
So it's $50,000 extra for the first 1,000, and it's a $250,000 deposit.
Holy moly.
But I mean, you don't think people have put that money down?
Well, I'm sure they have.
Like Larry Page did.
Did he?
Well,
or you think he did?
He's like friends with Elon. I'm sure he threw it down.
It's funny when the Tesla Semi gets reserved. There's news reports about it. Like FedEx reserved 10 Tesla Semis.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I wonder if it's Tesla releasing that or what. I think they're so excited. And isn't that like... Do you know what the deposit is on the Tesla Semi?
Yeah, it's 50 Gs as well.
Man.
Well, I think it's a $200,000 vehicle. Something like that.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's up there with the Roadster anyway.
Okay, should we do this last thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should save... I was going to mention self-driving taking jobs, but that's a long topic, so...
Okay, let me just mention this quickly. We don't really have to talk about it.
No, go ahead.
All right, so SpaceX's Earth views need a license now, probably thanks to the Tesla stunt.
What?
So you may recall, if you watched it, one of the last launches, they were launching 10 Iridium satellites, I think.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
During the broadcast, here it is, 10 Iridium satellites into orbit. So during the broadcast, like, you know how the firmware engineers and the Tesla employees basically host the broadcast.
Yeah.
So early in the broadcast, they said we'll be hosting the video up until it reaches space, which is like 60 kilometers out.
Okay.
And then the video will be cut. And everyone, like after the video, was like, why didn't they show the video? Because that's like standard.
Yeah.
That wasn't a government launch or anything.
Yeah.
Like a secret launch or whatever they call it.
I was worried the same thing, but
like military launch.
Yeah. I didn't know why. I didn't think about it much, though.
Yeah, so they just said they were cutting the video feed, and everyone was like, that's weird. They've shown Iridium launches before. They show the satellites leaving the second stage. Like, why are they doing that?
Yeah, you're reading my mind. Same thought.
So then this report came out that the NOAA, which is National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Okay.
Which apparently has a lot to do with imaging of the Earth.
Okay.
I'm assuming they have to be an American organization.
Okay.
So what the thought is that after SpaceX launched the Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster into space.
Yeah.
And there were these like amazing views of the Earth.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Coupled with them not really liking that display for whatever reason, like launching a car into space.
Are they in control of space though? It's kind of weird.
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah.
But the thought is that they're not happy about it, so they told SpaceX they have to get approval to show launches now. Like, they can still show the launch, they can't show images of the Earth from space. So the reason they didn't show the video was because SpaceX couldn't get the approval before the launch, which apparently can take up to 120 days. So they filed for approval 4 days before the launch, and the NOAA couldn't approve in time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So oh my goodness, that's so silly.
It is silly, and I hope they figure that out.
What kind of launch window is a 120-day out guarantee? I don't...
Well, none of them. Like,
yeah.
SpaceX is...
They launch 12 rockets a year, right?
Well, they've done more.
Yeah, 18 maybe.
I think they launched... maybe, yeah, somewhere around 18 last year.
I thought it was 18, but I said 12 because I think it's at least one a month usually.
Yeah, well, they've been on a much higher pace this year, I believe.
Right.
So it'd be, and we like watching those launches, so it'd be a shame if they can't show the video anymore.
But I don't understand why they can't. Like, if I asked you not to film while you were driving because I didn't like that you did that, doesn't mean you have to do that.
Well, they're like, this is some organization who's been given the authority.
Oh.
It's like the FCC or...
It seems like a gray area when it has to do with the whole Earth. Like, that's a lot of opinions.
Yeah, maybe it's to do with... Well, it probably does have to do with the whole Earth as long as you're an American company launching from the States.
Okay, yeah, because we're getting into some legal gray areas that don't make sense to me.
But then you also might... If you watch the last launch, they were launching a Dragon to the International Space Station. And they did show the video.
Yeah, I watched that one, yep.
So that's interesting because they didn't get approval to show that either. But they still showed the video, and that was after the one they couldn't show the video.
I was just gonna, yeah.
So the reason they could show that video was because it was a launch for NASA. And apparently NASA doesn't fall under the jurisdiction of the NOA.
Oh my goodness.
So it's all kind of silly.
I was going to guess that maybe it was because they tried to play nice the first time and then they couldn't approve it.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we won't adhere.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
But no, but it's apparently all just politics.
I wonder if SpaceX is just playing nice, just to play nice. Maybe.
Probably.
I mean...
Well, they can still show the launches. I mean, it would be ridiculous if every single launch they have to tell the NOAA 120 days before.
Yeah, I bet you there's someone at SpaceX that's going to lunch with someone from this organization. Be like, bro, like, can we, like, we launch a lot. Can we filter this process a bit?
Well, especially since, like, all their launches are very similar. Like, the views are very similar.
Yeah.
It's just like, can you not approve all of these for us?
It's funny that you mentioned, no, I'm just kidding. It's funny that it was almost the massive publicity that caused this because they were doing it before. But the Falcon Heavy and the Starman video feed got so much publicity and views. It's funny how that is what triggers it. But they were doing that. They've been doing that for a long time.
And I'm sure the views weren't that much different than, like, the views of the Starman launch were not that much different than other launches they've made.
Oh, no.
Like, maybe they put better cameras on, so they...
Yeah.
But, like, who cares?
Yeah. I know that video is their most watched video by miles. Their channel, I mean, they don't care about their YouTube channel, but as far as publicity now, their channel is way bigger. And their launches get way more views, even the regular Falcon 9 ones. Yeah. I've noticed that.
Well, they're a spectacle. They do a good job with, like, the production.
They actually do. It's exciting, yeah. Especially that guy. Falcon 9's on internal power.
Oh, that guy.
He's my hero.
Engines are nominal.
Yeah, he's so calm, cool, collected. I want his job. I wouldn't be able to hold it together, though. Yeah.
Anyway.
That's interesting.
Want to wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up, man. Yeah, lots of good tech news these days. I'm excited for the future.
Me too.
So we'll see what happens. Next topic, I think, the job market and autonomousness.
Is that what you were going to talk about?
Well, we won't get into it, but I was just
let's leave them hanging.
Let's leave them hanging. Yeah, let's leave them hanging. I was going to quickly bring up and see where it led us to self-driving cars. Like, that's a big part of the U.S. labor market.
Yeah.
Or sorry, people driving is a big part of the U.S. labor market. So what will self-driving cars do to that? Because we talked about how quickly it's advancing. And then other labor markets where machine intelligence or automation will take over. It's a big topic, so.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
Probably save it for its own piece.
We'll cover that next time.
Sweet, man.
All right.
Next time. High five. Woo!